Well, and good afternoon. Bobby Lee here from Hurricane Creek Farms. Glad y'all are watching. Yeah, starting this one in the afternoon because we've been at a horse show all day till just now. We got a few chores done early this morning before we left, but for the most part, yeah, we haven't got anything done. So glad y'all are here to ride along with us. But yeah, thumbs up like always. We appreciate y'all doing that. Subscribe if you haven't. But let's go. And the three bulls and this cow over here, did notice they've been picking around on that roll of hay a bit just over the last day or two. So I mean, they've still got some grass in here, still picking around, but probably gonna have to start at least giving them a little hay, especially if they go ahead and eat that roll up, just as their little, I mean, the pasture they've got is pretty much what you see right here. It goes all the way up to the end of the driveway, but not a huge area. So they'll be the first ones that we're really having to feed hay to, of course. First order of business, checking on all the animals, of course, and I'm 3 short. I'm gonna have to count them again, but yeah, they're kind of all scattered out. Some are on up this draw. You may can see one cow right there. But yeah, getting them checked on. Got actually all the other cows checked this morning. Was able to make the rounds and whatnot before we left. But here's Sadie barking. She's upset that we left her, although we didn't really leave her. She had an opportunity to come with us. She didn't choose to take it. But let's see if we can find those other 3. Where are they? And I don't know where. We were definitely actually 4 short. Some must have come back from across the creek as I've been riding around looking, because now they're all here. So either that or maybe I just couldn't count earlier, but now I counted and we were 4 short multiple times. So anyway, they're all here now. That's all that matters. We're good to go. I need to introduce y'all to some of the newest additions. And we don't, feature the chickens, really on the channel very prominently at all. But hello, ladies. We're down to 1. Thanks in large part just to our dogs. 2 eggs for today. I'm not sure about the new girls. Obviously one of them is laying because, like I said, we were down to just 1 on the left there. The kind of dark gray one was our only chicken we still had. Yeah, I think Sadie, I think I saw her get one, which normally she's pretty good about. She'll leave them alone. Pretty sure Archie may have gotten one. He is not yet very well chicken trained or chicken friendly. And we like to let them free range. See, obviously they're up in their little house today. Traditionally, yeah, I like to let them out during the day and then put them up at night. But we were losing one. We were at like 6, and it was like there 2 or 3 days in a row we were losing like 1 a day, and I was like, okay, that obviously is not sustainable. And we got down to 3, and then each of the dogs got 1. So anyway, picked up 4 new chickens this week, and we'll see if they'll all start producing for us. And we backed the baler under the shed the other day, and we got done rolling. Got it in a pretty good spot. It's a little unlevel, but obviously it's not gonna be its permanent resting place, but where it's gonna sit probably the next few months until we get some hay fed, out of the barn here, and can move it on back in there a little further. But gonna get it unhooked. Need to put forks on the front of the tractor, put the spear on the back, and then we can get that little bit of hay that we rolled on Wednesday moved home. All right, she's unhooked. Gonna move that hay home. It's only, I guess, 5 rolls, because we brought that little bitty tiny piece of the last roll, the 6th one, home in the baler. And with it just being 5 rolls and it all being right next door, we'll just bring them in with the tractor. Doesn't even make sense to hook up the trailer. There's 2 rolls this farm's kind of split by the creek, by Hurricane Creek. So two of them you got to drive way around. It's about 5 miles, or I say 5 miles. It's about 3.5 miles. But there's only two over there, so I got to go over there once with the tractor and back anyway. So anyway, may not make a lot of sense, but we're gonna make just those few trips in with the tractor, and well, it won't be all the hay home because the last I rolled at my parents' house, I stacked there. I hadn't moved any of it home yet. Knew we didn't have room in the barn to stack it anyway, so we just stacked it off to the side of the field. We'll move it home. We may go ahead and move it home here in the next few weeks. We may wait until later on in the winter, you know, when we really need it. It's not a long haul to get it home. I really don't have just a lot of to stack it here. We'll see. Now we get to say good morning. So Sunday morning now, beautiful day. Trying to think, when we woke up on Wednesday, it was like 27 degrees, frost, of course, everywhere. Yesterday morning and then again this morning, it's like 60. It was an overnight low. So back to almost summertime temperatures. It's breezy though today. But get this group checked. We were actually too short here yesterday morning, but I didn't have a lot of extra time because we were going to that horse show. So we'll make double certain that we count everybody today. Oh yeah, they ready for a bite. Okay, 34 head right here. Then 3 stragglers coming up. That's easy math, that's 37. So that's everybody accounted for. One of the reasons I love the Jeep, you can just go places. So that's not a terrible spot, but I do have a culvert, an extra culvert laying around there at home where we had some of that dirt work done. We needed a bigger culvert, so we replaced one. I think the one that we replaced would work pretty well right there. Would make it where you didn't have to kind of off-road the Jeep every time you came through there. I just want to, driving out this other way, I don't normally have to come across that ditch every single day checking cows, but this is a little pasture. It kind of goes on around and then back down the other side of this ridge over here. But it'd be the smallest pasture on this property. Doesn't really have good water, and so anytime they're in this pasture, they have to be opened up where they can come and go from another one. But we hadn't had anything in here since we had the steers, and we sold them like 2.5 months ago. And so, as you can see, lots and lots of growth. Now, a lot of Bermuda, some crabgrass, of course, some Johnson grass. You know, some other warm seasons that got, you know, pretty much terminated with that frost and freeze we had last week. But still a lot of grazing value in here, a lot of feed value. So, probably gonna let them in here. Probably gonna be another week and a half or so. Just as we're rationing things out. I've got a trip coming up where I'm going to be out of town. Still going to have somebody else helping watch things. When they're in this pasture, we can open the gate just right up there where they can go back and forth to the front. It's easier for somebody else, especially to check them when they're right there at the road. But anyway, yeah, and I knew we should have a good bit of grazing in here for them when we let them in, and yeah, it didn't disappoint. So just took a moment to do a little scouting. Sadie's hunting up a mole, or maybe trying to flush a bird, who knows. Which, good luck to her if she's trying to find a quail. First one she finds will probably be the first one she's ever seen. Oh, you gonna ride? You don't want to run the rest of the way out? She's already had her morning exercise, I guess. And this is kind of the back hillsides of the pasture, just out at the road. There's the neighbor's house just right up there. But yeah, those 7 steers that never got sold, that had spent basically the last 2.5 months in here, for some reason they never really grazed over here. So these hillsides, and you can tell it's all been pretty well burnt by that frost. But a lot of some Johnson grass, some fescue. Well, of course, fescue being a cool season, but crabgrass, Bermudas, foxtail, and all. But still, we'll get some grazing off of this too. So I just hadn't ridden kind of back here over the hill to see what it looked like. But I knew, because just for whatever reason, they would never be over here grazing. They were always over on the other side. But really, the grass doesn't look nearly as good. Certainly not as plentiful. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm still holding out hope that it's going to be at least December before we're having to really feed any hay. For our next project, I got to get the back end of the side-by-side cleaned out, because as you can see, I don't want to call it all junk, because it's a lot of useful tools, but there's some garbage and some junk in there. We're going to get that cleaned out so we can put our seeder on the back of this, so we can go overseed some rye into some strategic locations. Alright, so we got her attached just in the receiver hitch there. Get her strapped in with that. Give it some extra stability. And then get the wiring hooked up, and fingers crossed that she's working just like she was when we put her up last time. Everything hooked up, strapped down, the wiring. So will it work? Should have cleaned it out before I mounted it on there. Oh well. So she is working. So good deal. Now I guess we just need to load up some seed, figure out our rate we want to put it down at, make a few adjustments, and we'll be broadcasting some ryegrass. I can't remember if I filmed it yesterday or not. I don't think I did, but that old roll of hay has been sitting over here for the bulls for forever. And I did show that they were picking around on it. We went ahead and put another older roll of hay, but probably just a little better roll of those we moved home yesterday. And yeah, they started eating that one up. So we'll probably, I said, hopefully it'll be at least December before feeding hay. Well, I mean to like the major cow herd. Probably will start keeping hay out regularly for the bulls, because obviously they just don't have much grazing over here. But yeah, once they started eating on that, which they hadn't eaten on it much, and like right now they're down there grazing, so they're not gonna just go through the hay real quick. But yeah, need to get a hay ring put around that too sometime before the end of the day. All right, and I've got my barefooted little helper with me, but you can see we got some of the seed in here. We've already done one field. There's 5 fields on this farm for a total of about 9 acres. So they're all pretty small little fields, kind of like what we're in here, and then going up through the opening there. I actually consider this all one field. If you split that up, it'd be 6. But we know we're wanting to put out between 25-30 pounds an acre, something like that. So we're wanting to put it out with the seeder, not you. But of course we do have this nice little chart here. So look at ryegrass, 14-foot spread width, puts down 22 pounds an acre, so not far off. 7/8 of an inch opening. We probably made our opening just a little bigger than that, because one, we want to put it down just slightly thicker. And I'm going just a little faster than 4 miles an hour. Even it just about 7 miles an hour on this thing seems about just normal. And so I just have a hard time making myself go that much slower. But too, again, these fields are tiny. And so, we're able to keep up with how much we're putting in the seeder, how much we're putting in each field pretty easily. And if, we've been going too fast, not putting down quite enough, we just double back. Too, that probably helps us ensure that we get a little more even spread by, crossing our tracks, going the other way and whatnot. But anyway, we're gonna see how this works.
Some of them are brothers and sisters.
Well, you're right. A lot of them are half brothers and sisters. But yes, we got the first 3 little fields spread. Got 2 more that are over here. So we're driving through property with side by side.
This is our property?
Well, this is not our property. This is the neighbor's place. That over there is our place, but we rent this. So I'm gonna use this opportunity, obviously, to check these calves as we pass through, and then go up there and get this last little bit spread. But get a head count, make sure they're all here. Can you count them?
No.
Yeah. So we got all the hay fields covered. Still got a little in the spreader. I got one more full bag, which will probably save that. I know my brother was going to spread some. May ask him if he could take an extra bag and give that back to him. But yeah, just to hit on this a little, buddy, don't do that, please. I mean, it's okay for a little bit right there, but so some of you may almost cringe at the thought of having ryegrass in your hay fields. I know my dad and my uncle would. Luckily, I'm pretty sure they don't watch these videos, but they actually fight ryegrass and Bermuda grass every spring. But also, I look at some of that rye they've got, and I'm like, man, you know, you could cut that for hay, you know, especially if they went ahead and fertilized it early. But of course, they're raising, you know, horse quality Bermuda grass hay, you know, in most instances, whereas we're worried about feeding these fellas. So the quality, I mean, obviously we want the highest quality hay possible, but quantity, you know, volume is also important to us. So I mean, this is a little bit of an experiment. We'll see if this adds a whole another extra cutting. We were late getting our first cutting done this past year, mainly because we just weren't set up. We didn't even buy our baler until the end of May. So got 3 cuttings. The third one was really short. Almost wasn't even worth it. You know, in a good year where we're getting timely rains, and maybe where we don't get a frost a couple of weeks early like we did this year, you'd really like to get 3 good cuttings, and then that 4th one be that short one that we got. So I don't know, we'll see if maybe having this rye, we've got some that's ready to cut, maybe even early or mid-May, you know, get that off, and then, you know, coming back a month or so later with that second cutting. But we'll see. It's a little bit of an experiment. It's like 9 acres of hay field, so it's not a make or break for us by any means. But we're gonna run out a little bit that we still got in the spreader, just on some of these thin spots on pasture. Made a quick trip to the feed store this afternoon. Actually already unloaded the horse feed. We got a variety pack, which is usually what we get. We got cattle mineral, horse feed. We had to get some more chicken feed because obviously we added those new chickens. And then we can't forget about the cats. Grabbed a bag of cat food as well, so we get the rest of this unloaded. There's only a couple of bags of mineral on here because I'm gonna feed them in the morning, because we're gonna hook up to the feed bin as well. We're gonna move it down to the other farm. It's good and dry. I can drive the truck back right now. Be a good time to get it moved. But yeah, some of that mineral's already on there, so I'm gonna work smarter, not harder. Just unload what we're not gonna need. So we're hooked up, ready in the morning. All I gotta do is jump in there. My weekday morning routines, because currently, and my watch is dead. Sunrise is like, I don't know, somewhere around 7, so it really isn't that light enough for us to do much early. And so basically I've been, the last probably month, just on my way to work. I try to leave here about 6:45, go by the other farm on my way to work, and then go into town. Which right now it's been so dry, it's not like it's been muddy or anything, so I've gotten dirty or even been at risk of getting real nasty. But yeah, we'll swing by there in the morning, drop that bin off, throw out a couple bags of mineral, check those cows. But gotta put chicken feed and cat food down there in that barn. And yeah, it's hot. I'm sweating. It's nearly 80 degrees this afternoon, so yeah, stark contrast to what it was middle of the week. Next little task, just a bunch of little things we needed to do today, and they're all, you add them all up, it takes time. Done with hay for the year. So we're gonna get the rake unhooked. We'll park it somewhere up over there near the hay trailer. Then get the 40/30. Probably gonna take it down there and park it under that barn just so it's out of the weather. You know, it's sat out pretty much since we bought it, but we're not gonna leave it sitting out all winter now that she can kind of be tucked away. We'll still probably use this tractor occasionally. I don't know, we get to using a creep feeder, and once it's full, empty, we move it with side by side, but full, it needs a tractor. We'll use it for things like that and whatnot. But for the most part, we're gonna get her tucked away for the winter. Because of where I just kind of randomly dropped that trailer and then dropped that roll of hay yesterday, I didn't have a great spot to put this. I want it just tucked out of the way for the winter. Ideally not right underneath a tree where we get an ice storm or anything and part of the tree comes down, it gets damaged. But this will work for the winter time. Get her parked here and get that tractor moved back up to the shed. Go ahead and get this parked inside. You know, again, just we don't want it to be out all winter, but we're expecting a big rain Monday night into Tuesday. So that's also why I wanted to get that grass spread today. You know, it'll take a rain, one, just to get it up, but two, with us not running a harrow or anything back over that after we spread it in those hay fields. Good heavy rain like that should help get us, you know, some seed to soil contact that we'll need to get that rise germinated. But yeah, expect the rain middle of the week, but I think relatively mild temperatures still. For one of our final tasks of the day, I'm gonna go through our newly hung gate for the first time. Which got a fair bit of dirt work to do here to make that not quite so dramatic of a drop off. But I'm gonna get out here and grab a hay ring to go around that roll of hay we got over there for the bulls. Alright, so got that tiny little task complete, and what time it is? Looks like my watch died. It's 5:30. It's Sunday evening. I'm about ready to get inside, get the kids ready for school tomorrow, get a bite of supper. So it's probably just might wrap this one up. Got a lot more exciting stuff coming along. We're at the end of hay baling season, not quite yet to hay feeding season, thankfully. Not sure how much longer that'll be, but got a lot of things need to get done over these next few weeks. You know, one thing I had thought of, need to preg check just a few. There might be 8 or 10. Basically the ones that checked open that we kept, really just some heifers. See if you know, they were possibly bregs. They were pretty much all exposed to the bull at times later than what would have shown up on those original tests. Not entirely by design, but yeah, just want to check because thinking, I guess we're going to feed out at least one heifer because we got 8 kill dates for freezer beef for the spring, but only the 7 steers. So we'll take one of the open heifers and she'll get fed out with those boys. But anyway, rambling. That's what I do at the end of videos, right? But y'all keep checking back. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. The channel has grown a lot over the last 6 months. That's because of you guys. Y'all have a good one. Eat beef and God bless.